Hello and welcome. My name is Bashir Fadl, and over the years, I've been fortunate enough to have worked with hundreds of people that have transformed their careers into IT and into Salesforce administration, and also went on to get certified as Salesforce administrators. So a question that I usually get asked is, why Salesforce administrator? And all the detailed questions. How much do they make? What do they do? So let's break it down very simple. Number one, what does a Salesforce administrator do? We could summarize that in about 4 or 5 steps. Number one, data. Data is the most important thing in all of IT. Whether you do security, it's to secure the data. If you do business intelligence, it's to report on the data. So data is the core of it. In a database, we call it tables. In Salesforce, we call it objects. So as an administrator, you're responsible for the database. You're responsible for the objects, creating the objects, maintaining the objects, customizing or changing or modifying the objects. Sometimes you add what's called validation rules to kind of make sure only valid data gets in there, and triggers, which makes sure that certain things happen as a consequence of dealing with the data within the objects. Number one. Number two is what we call reports and dashboards. Your team, your sales, your marketing, your managers, VPs, they're looking for reports, from this data, and they're looking for dashboards and charts and graphs. So as a Salesforce administrator, my role would be to help generate those reports and dashboard. Number three is automation. Think about it. When you go online, whether it's Expedia or Priceline, you buy a ticket, you immediately get an email that says your flight is confirmed. Or beginning of the month, you get a bank statement from the bank. Literally, there's nobody sitting on a computer sending those thousands of emails every day for Expedia or Priceline. It's all automated. Similarly, as a Salesforce administrator, the business will tell you, well, when somebody buys this product, we want to send them an email, or 30 days after they buy it, we want to send them this email as an instance. So that's why we create what's called automation, process automation. There's different kinds of automation, whether it's what's called the approval process, what's called the flow, workflow process builder, but that falls under our responsibility. Lucky for us. Number four is security. If somebody comes in into the world of Salesforce in the company, you're responsible usually to create their user, to attach them to a team, which is what we call a profile. When they leave the company, we freeze their account. And of course, if the hierarchy of the company is set up, then the role hierarchy falls under us. So we are responsible for security. Number five, no product, not just one product exists within the IT department of a company. So the company, for example, they'll have a CRM that's Salesforce, but for financials, they might end up having Sage and QuickBooks. And then for customer service, they might have ServiceNow. So now some of that data is needed in Salesforce, and some of that Salesforce data is needed in the other systems. So I, as an administrator, usually are responsible for importing and exporting that data, or in some cases, setting up what's called integration, which is done through APIs or other products such as MuleSoft and SSIS and so on. But importing the data, exporting the data, mapping the data would fall within kind of the realm of what the administrator does. At the end of the day, a lot of people are new, whether to the department or to Salesforce, or even within the Salesforce administrator team. So a big part of what we do is cross-training. We document things. We have standards of how to do certain things, whether it's creating a report for the user or creating a report as an administrator. So we have what's called SOPs. So as administrators, we help kind of define and maintain and create the documentation that has to do with standards, SOPs, standard operating procedures, and make sure that other people are properly trained within the department. Next big question that also get asked is, well, because we hear the word sales, so we assume that we're going to work in a sales or marketing department. So the question is, where can I work as a Salesforce administrator? And the answer is, Salesforce has a lot of what we call clouds or apps. So they have one for the financial industry, one for the health industry, one for the travel and leisure, one for nonprofits. So over the years, I've been fortunate enough, and hopefully you'll be fortunate enough to work for any of those industries. So yes, it could be a sales company or a marketing company, but you could work for a financial company. You could work for the health related company, whether it's clinic or whatever. You can work for the travel and leisure. You can work for manufacturing. You can work for a nonprofit organization, all that use different clouds and different kind of divisions and integrations of Salesforce. So there's a lot of opportunity in working on any industry basically with Salesforce. Why should I consider Salesforce? Because there's a lot of Salesforce administrator jobs out there. There's a lot of Salesforce administrator jobs out there. One other thing that's really nice that existed before COVID, and then after COVID just expanded a lot, that makes it a lot more appealing to people. And right now, the couple of years after COVID, hundreds of the students that took the course with us that have worked ended up working remotely. In some cases, 100% remote, where they get hired, a laptop is mailed out to them, and they just log in for their laptop. They've never seen the corporate office. In other cases, it's hybrid, which means once a month they need to go into the office, or maybe once a week they need to go into an office. So again, it's not all the time, but it's an added bonus that most likely you're going to be working remotely as an administrator. Finally, and most importantly for a lot of people, is it pays good. Salesforce administrator job is fun. It's easy. It's a lot of repeated work in there, and it pays good. A big part of what we do is regular work in there, customer service, working with teams. And it's just fun because you feel that you're helping a company, you're helping the departments, you're attending to their needs. It's easy, it's intuitive, and getting paid good money for that. Oh my God, that's an added bonus. Please subscribe to our channel. You're going to find a lot of other videos with Salesforce administration topics. Hopefully you guys benefit from it, and we're there to answer any questions about your Salesforce. So enjoy your trip as administrators.